All right, welcome in. It is Wednesday. I think the word is penultimate, our penultimate show, because we only have two shows left today. But the Blue Jays got the job done yesterday, which means we will be here with you on Friday, no matter what happens today, because Game 5 is not going to end this series. So two more shows for total basis for the season. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to getting to do this show, hopefully next year as well, but at least two more times with my guys, Tokyo Bryan and Bryan Leonard. So we'll go to you first, Bryan. Listen, I'm pretty sure we nailed it yesterday. The panel, pretty much everything we talked about regarding Ohtani, the Blue Jays, it all played out. I'm glad you two got to the window. I ended up passing on the game stupidly in hindsight. But how was the night? I know you guys cashed a couple tickets.
Yeah, it was really good night. Game played out the way we thought it was going to play out. And as I said, there's no way the Dodgers should be that big of a favorite. And in some of the comments, people were talking about that we were crazy about Ohtani and everything. Well, it worked out exactly that way. He got tired at the end, and because of his manager, didn't prepare ahead of time. I kept him in too long. He played Pages, and I said if he plays Pages in the starting lineup, it tells you he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. And, of course, Pages does nothing, and then he's got to pitch it for him late in the game. Yeah, it worked out great. Unfortunately, hockey and baseball were great yesterday, but I did lose my college football play, and it was ugly. I had an ugly underdog and was never in it. But it's what happens. You can't win all the time, but very happy about the way we broke the game down yesterday. And if anybody tuned in, you should have found many ways to find a winner on yesterday's card, even though I don't give out props. Just by listening to the way we speak about the games, use your own head. And if there's something you agree with and it's a prop, then get yourself a winner there.
Speaking of props, I had Bieber to go over 14.5 outs to finish 5 innings, and he did. I also had the Dodgers under 2.5 in the first 5 because I thought they would be fatigued. It was a little bit of a nail biter, but it got there. And then I had no runs first inning, which I rarely bet no runs first inning, but I thought, Ohtani is uber talented, even though I thought his fatigue would kick in a little later, which it did. But yeah, no runs first inning also cashed. And I think that's the first time I bet that all season. So we were not only right about the side, and Bryan, you're too humble. You had a 3% play on a plus 185 for the Blue Jays money line. That was ballsy, and you won it. So nice job there. I won all 3 of my bets, and we also told you guys how the game would progress. We're not right 100% of the time, but yesterday we pretty much were. We said Bassett was going to come in relief, and he looked great. He was kind of like Klein was the day before. So yeah, we were pretty much right. All 3 of us.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself in hindsight. It's not that I didn't like Blue Jays and everything I talked about on the show, but as the day went on, I'll be honest, the 18-inning game the day prior started to creep into my head a little bit, where I was sitting there like, man, this could go completely off the rails. Like we really don't know how the teams are going to respond to this, and ultimately, I wish I just had more confidence in my initial. Our initial discussion, because that's what happened. But it also goes to show, like, if you're doing this and you're trying to make money and you're a professional bettor, like the odds of you finding more than 1 or 2 really good spots in a World Series are just slim. And that's kind of where I was. I felt like every game has been priced pretty close to what it should be. Definitely was a little bit of value on the Blue Jays yesterday. We're going to talk about Game 5. I think there might be a little value on the Blue Jays again today, but I want to go back to yesterday for a second and just point out a far more straightforward game, right? Like pretty much what you would expect. Both TB, that was a really good bet on Bieber over outs. Like there was no way he was not going to be asked to go as long as possible. I have to be honest, I was surprised that they tried to go as I guess I'm surprised and I'm not. I'm surprised because I wouldn't have done it. I'm not surprised because Dave Roberts, I don't think, thinks at a very high level when it comes to in-game management. I felt like the writing was on the wall a little bit with Ohtani there. Like I felt like they were asking for it by pushing him into the 6th inning, and that's eventually what happened.
And
so
7th. the seventh.
Yeah, right. Like at that point, I figured for me, I was
Crazy.
like, man, if Ohtani can give you like 5 really good innings here, like they had other options in my opinion. And it turned out to be who got the big hit. That was the Blue Jays got the big hits. Neither team really, Fluharty got out of a jam. That was big for the Blue Jays. But other than that, Bassett pretty economical. 2 innings, 20 pitches. Varland comes in. You would have liked to see him maybe throw a few less pitches in the 9th inning, but I think he's probably not pitching today. I think that's, you'd be, maybe he can go, but you'd be asking for it. I think this would be 3rd game in 3 days for Varland. I'm sure if he's feeling good, they'll use him. That was the only one that I think maybe from the night before couldn't go. And then the Dodgers, that Jack Dreyer ended up kind of cleaning up at the end there for them. So we come into game 5. I think game 3, the 18 innings is now sort of in the past. It's a much more sort of standard setup, in my opinion, for game 5. And we're back, Bryan Leonard, with our same matchup for game 1, a matchup that I kind of liked. I felt like the Savage games were the ones that were going to decide the series for the Blue Jays in the respect that I kind of looked at the series and said they're going to need to catch lightning in a bottle with the Savage at some point and have him turn in a really good start. He didn't have a great start in game 1, but they still got the win. So it's like we're back. Blake Snell wasn't as good in game 1. Are you seeing this going the other way? How are you sort of starting to dig into game 5?
Yeah, I kind of touched on this yesterday about the opening game of the series. I believe it's now 0-5, the team that's well rested against the team that has played recently. So that it's a small sample size, but they haven't even been close. So maybe you got to give that a little bit of a look where you realize that the Dodgers were a little bit rusty in game 1. But they did do pretty well against Savage. Savage, if you take a look at what he does, he's a string ground ball pitcher, gets you to chase and whiff a lot of missed, a lot of swing and miss in his game, which is something you love. But the one thing, he against lefties, he throws his splitter, which is to me his best pitch 34% of the time. His fastball 50% of the time. He's only got 3 pitches. He also has a slider. But if you take a look at on the season, for his split finger against his expected WOBA is 200. His actual WOBA is 157. You take a look at his four-seamer, his expected WOBA is 354. His WOBA is 377. So his split finger is his best pitch, and he throws it. He's thrown 47 of them to lefties, 16 of them to righties. So he does it against lefties. And if you take a look at the Dodgers lineup, they're lefties: Ohtani, Freeman, and Muncy. Those are 3 key bats in that Dodgers lineup. So I think he might have some success early on in that regard. And I'd ask you guys off camera. We know the stats on Ohtani when he is pitching, his offense really goes down. If anybody out there knows what his stats are the game after he pitches, if there's any kind of holdover on that, point me to it, because that'd be interesting to see. But I think Savage, as long as he sticks with that splitter, can have success against those lefties. Don't know if I talked in the past about the coach of the Dodgers. He doesn't play his bench guys. You take a look at in this series, he's trotted out the same lineup every single time. I talked yesterday about Pejas. He was great during the regular season. He's swinging upwards when he plays in the postseason, and he's an automatic out. So I think they need to do something. Start Alex Call instead of him. Give him a chance to clear his head a little bit. And they've got guys on the bench other than Rojas got a little bit of play, but they've got guys on the bench. Kim was a guy that was supposed to be a big offseason acquisition. You haven't seen anything about him. Of course, he's a lefty, so I don't know if I'd play him in this one. But there's a lot out there to like about Toronto maybe having a good pitching game. Blake Snell, on the other hand, really kind of pitched in the first game. I think he tried to pitch away from what he normally does. He did not throw the same kind of pitches he normally does that we thought we were going to have success with. And he went out and he went in that first game. He got hit a little bit. Sorry to go a little bit long today, guys. This is only one game. We can do something like that. But he went to 5 innings, gave up 5 earned runs, and that was on the heels of what he go like 18 shutout or 28 shutout innings or something to that effect. He'd been really good up until then. The Reds, he gave up 2 earned runs again. Phillies 0, Brewers 0, and then he got bombed by Toronto. I would expect him to have a much better game also. So while I have looked at overs the entire series, it may be worth a little bit of an underplay here, at least in the first 5. I don't know if I want to play the under where these bullpens come in, but the first half of this game right now, the first half is sitting at 4, slightly to the over. Maybe something small on the under in the first half, but I also think that this game, like yesterday, I said there's no way one team could be a $2 favorite in this series, and you're looking anywhere from $1.95 to $2 on the Dodgers here. Maybe Toronto in the game, first half under, something like that. That's my early look at this, and I'll let the other guys take over.
Okay, it looks like today we're not going to be aligned like we were yesterday. But today's a little more of a wild, wacky kind of game because, look, they played 18 innings 2 days ago, 9 innings yesterday. Then they get a little bit of rest. First of all, I'd like to hindsight is 2020. I understand, but why did you put Blake Trinan in the game yesterday? That's just, are you trying to win the game? I'm just wondering if you're trying to win or not, because you had so many other options. I know Banda was bad, but Trinan, 1 out and 2 hits, and that's what you can expect from him now. Unfortunately, that's just who he is this season. So, anyways, that's my rant about yesterday. Hindsight's 2020, but I've been saying all along this postseason, if the Jays put Little in, kiss it goodbye, and if the Dodgers put Trinan in, kiss it goodbye. Fortunately, they don't have Scott on their playoff roster because he's even worse. But anyway, rant over. So today, look, I know Blake Snell got crushed in game 1, but if you look at his home away splits, he's got a really good ERA at home. He's a good home pitcher. His stats against this team, not so bad. Trey Savage, look, he's a rookie. He has more postseason innings in his MLB career than he does regular season innings. And his ERA is not very good. It's 4+. And he's pitching on the road in a very crucial World Series game. I think being a rookie matters at this point in the season. And I think being a solid veteran matters as well. And he's at home. Man, if the Dodgers could have won that game yesterday, this World Series is all but over, but they let it go. And so now we got a series. We got a best of 3 now. So I like the Dodgers here. And I know we said yesterday that in no circumstance should a team be -200 in the World Series, but I don't know, man. I think the Dodgers have a much better shot at winning this game today than the Blue Jays do. And they're not going to use Trinan for sure. So that's another plus. The Jays might have to use Little. So that's advantage Dodgers as far as bullpen is concerned, in my opinion.
I don't understand like they put Trinan in a 6-1 game and he threw 8 pitches. Like I guess I don't get that. Like it's kind of irrelevant at that point. I think at that point, I think the Dodgers
weren't trying to win it at that point then.
Well, it's not that they weren't trying to win it, but they came off of an 18-inning game where they used their entire bullpen. They have a 2-1 lead in the series. Why would you use anyone other than Blake Trinan in that spot? You're down 6-1. You have a game tomorrow. So it was basically Trinan and Dreyer. I think they picked the 2 guys that they said, well, we can live without those guys tomorrow in the game that we actually need. And the Blue Jays, like that was my big takeaway, was they were able to get through and close out a game that probably could have or should have been a closer game without having to really like go nuts with their bullpen. Because that's what I was kind of watching for. And that's where Bieber pitching into the 6th inning was huge for them because,
Huge.
Fluharty only came in and threw 4 pitches. He's been used back-to-back days now, but very sparingly. So I would fully expect to see him in a big spot tonight, if it comes to it. And then Bassett kind of took care of business. They didn't need to go leverage. So, if you're the Blue Jays, I think you're okay. Like, yeah, I don't want to see Little in that game either. He's not the guy I want to see out there, but I still think you're okay. You've got Jeff Hoffman, who's been better since hitting the playoffs. You've got, there's options there. Varland, you may not see because he threw 20 pitches last night, but actually, you know what? Again, I go back to the mentality from yesterday. It's the World Series. If Louis Varland wakes up and his arm feels good, he'll be out there tonight. Like, he's going to go to the manager and say, I feel fine. So I don't think either bullpen is very compromised. Like, I think you're getting like the normal bullpen, if you will, on both sides here. Like, so again, I that to me, I'll work backward. The 2 bullpens are very even in this series. I know, we've kind of like belabored the point through 5 games and there are things I like about each side, right? Like, I think Sasaki's nasty. I think he's got incredible stuff. I actually like him better as a reliever than a starter. But between the years, man, in a close game, 2-2 World Series, do I really want Sasaki out there? Game on the line? Not sure. Like he's shown signs of, maybe not being able to handle that. So, it's very interesting. But I think even then you go back to the starters, and it's like, to me, there's no question. You're comparing these 2 starting pitchers. Blake Snell is an all-star. We're not going to question Blake Snell and how good he is, but you don't really know how good Savage is yet. And that, I think, is the point of this handicap here, is that you've got a $2 favorite with the Dodgers, right? Probably rightfully so. I don't think I'm going to sit here and say, well, the Dodgers don't deserve to be favorite. They're home. They have the more proven guy on the mound. But what you and none of us really know is how good Trey Savage is yet, because we've seen flashes, but this guy started in low A. He's come up. He's shown the ability to do it in stretches at the big league level. But it also goes back to, like, well, I'll give you an example from game 1. And then really throughout the playoffs, he throws 3 pitches. Okay. So you have a lineup that's as good as any with the Dodgers that's going to be able to identify the 3 pitches. The pitch for him that's the clear X factor is the splitter, but it's very hard to spot that pitch. So, like, the movement he gets off that splitter is crazy. You can't really pinpoint. I mean, I'm sure he kind of knows where he wants it to go, but it's not like he can just paint the bottom of the zone with that splitter. If he is, I mean, he's probably sitting there like, man, it's working tonight, right? But, like, the line is so fine, because if that splitter's up, a guy like Freddie Freeman's going to hit it 420. If it's down a little bit where they can identify it and it's out of the zone, that's the fear for your Savages. He falls behind and counts, and now all of a sudden he's going to have to come in with something to one of these guys, and then the damage is done. I feel like that's kind of how the first game went, but they got him out before it could have gotten really bad, right? 4 innings, couple walks, couple runs, and they were fortunate enough to also get the couple runs off of Snell. So that's kind of how I see, like, it's a tricky handicap, because I think if he's good, like, let's say he's on, I think he could outduel Snell for 5 innings. If he's getting swing and miss on that splitter, he could definitely outduel Snell. And then who's to say that the Dodgers, who had a great approach against Blake Snell in game 1, won't have the same approach here? Like, I don't know that Snell's a guy that's totally, like, gonna tweak what he's doing just because game 1 didn't go well. At some point, can we give the Blue Jays credit for just having good at-bats? They had really good at-bats against Snell in game 1. So, again, it's the World Series, man, but 2 really, really good teams. I feel like we could continue to dissect this game and keep coming up with, like, well, if this happens, this team. If this happens, this team. For me, it's still Blue Jays plus 1.5 if I absolutely had to pick. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, Snell didn't get a single swing and miss in that first start. That's what Toronto does. He wasn't pitching to him. He wasn't doing what he normally does. He was trying to. It was frustrating. You could see on his face it was frustrating, because all season long He's been able to get a lot of swing and miss. He got none in that game. He's a veteran. I think he makes some adjustments. You made a great point about Savage. We don't know what we're going to get. He's the question mark. When you have a guy like that, I think it's only a positive to look at that and say, you know, if he's on, this is a gift. If he's off, they get him out of the game pretty quickly. But keep in mind, this is the third game in 4 days, and one of those included basically 2 games. So the guys, the long relievers that Toronto was able to use in that first game, they've pitched 70 innings. And it's tough for somebody like that to come back 2 days later and stay in the game for a long time. So maybe the way you take a look at it is you see if Savage is controlling this sinker. If he is, you bet it live. If he isn't, then you can go back to some other way and try to figure out a way to get it. But yeah, we'll see. This is an interesting game. We were like Brandon said yesterday, we're all on one side. We're all in agreement. The clear value was there. When everybody tells you you're stupid for betting the underdog, the Dodgers are going to kill them. That's usually a pretty good reason to say, I got a good bet here. Today, it's a little bit different.
Let's not forget Snell's last start against the Blue Jays. He shut him out in 5 innings with 10 strikeouts. So I don't think, and that was at home. I think being at home is a big difference for him. He's got one of the biggest, not one of the biggest, but quite a large discrepancy between home and away stats. And Savage, he is a bit of an X factor. Don't really know what to expect from him. But he does have a 4+ ERA in the postseason. So I think Snell's going to be vintage today. I might look at a Blue Jays under. It's so hard to bet an under with either one of these lineups, though, because these are probably the 2 best lineups in all of Major League Baseball. So, yeah, but I think we're going to see vintage Snell.
I just want to. You said last time your Savage shut him out.
No, Snell.
Oh, Snell.
Yeah, 5 innings, 3 hits.
Not last time in the playoffs.
No, it was August 10th.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And that was at home. You know, the only guy who hit him that day was Clement. Went 2 for 4, but
he said everybody.
What's that?
He said everybody. He's been great.
He's been great.
Ernie Clement's been terrific. He's been the unknown star for Toronto in these playoffs. He's not hitting the home runs. That's not his game. But he's pesky. He's on base. He can run.
Yeah, he's got to be hitting for – what's he hitting?
It's like money. It's
in
like
the playoffs.
Yeah, it's like Moneyball. Getting on base is more important than hitting a home run every 5 games. So getting on base is more important. Agree with that. Yeah.
Have you seen a George Springer injury update? Has anyone seen that to this point?
They said he was available to go in the game yesterday, but they didn't use him.
Yeah, I think that's
what's he Kirk Gibson at this point? He's just like going to limp around the bases.
Just gamesmanship right now. They're the quote I heard was he's hour by hour. We're all hour by hour. Come on.
In our case, we might be dead in an hour.
Yeah, that gives us no information. And you know, I listened to the Baseball Network, and they talked about it a lot while I'm in the car. And they were like, how can you come back from that? And one of the guys on the show, I forgot who it was, said, he goes, I've had that. He goes, there's no way he's coming back in 2 days. They got to make a decision today if he's coming back at all, or if they bring somebody else up. I guess Joey Leperfido. I guess if you're taking a batter up, but I bring a pitcher up at this point. But we'll see what they do. But I would not consider Springer being in the lineup at this point. If he comes in, how good is he going to be? They even talked about him being a pitch runner. Why would you bring an older guy? He's 36 years old, an older guy in as a pitch runner when he's got a problem? No, you don't do that. I don't agree with that. He's either on the team or he's not. And if he's not going to be able to play the next few days, why even keep him on the roster?
It's a good point. I mean, you could get if you know that that's going to be the case, you could, you know, there's other guys that you could bring on the roster that would give you maybe a situational advantage somewhere. So that's certainly a good point. We got some folks that we didn't talk enough about props yesterday. So I'll say if you I think the reason we don't talk about props unless provoked by the chat is because like none of us are really like prop bettors. That's not, I don't think that's where TB does it more than I would say that Bryan and I do. But I'm certainly happy to talk about them. So first thing I want to do is just kind of bring up this comment because I think it's interesting. And I think this is like something that comes up in baseball a lot, which to me helps me sort of like find maybe hidden value. So the comment is this. I'm not disagreeing with it, but I want to just point a couple of things out here. Saying Savage can outpitch Snell is extreme. Snell is a proven top-notch pitcher. Okay, see, I don't disagree with the latter. Snell is a proven top-notch pitcher. But Savage was drafted higher than Snell. See, this is where it's like you have to almost like anticipate the unknown. So if you go back to 2011, now Snell was a high draft pick, 52nd overall, okay, in the 2011 draft. But Savage was a first rounder, right? So it's like, he's 20th overall pick. So if you just go back to the very beginning of their careers, one would say, okay, like Savage has his outlook is like his ceiling. He could be better than Snell. We don't know. Now, as we know as baseball fans, watching this sport as much as we do, the likelihood of him having a better career than Snell is the likelihood is low because so many things have to go right for you to have a really long, really good career. But like when I'm watching this dude pitch and I'm watching a split finger that falls out of the sky, that can dot the bottom of the zone, that no one can hit if he throws at the bottom of the zone, why would he not be able to outpitch Snell on a 5 to 6 inning sample? Right? We're not talking about career. We're talking about, hey, it is Wednesday night, October 29th. They're probably going to go 5 or 6 innings each. Why can he not outpitch Snell? His stuff is arguably better in the respect that it does more. Snell, obviously a better pitcher. That's not up for debate, but we're only talking about tonight's game. So that to me is very interesting. And I would disagree with that statement. To tie it back into a prop, as I look at the Blue Jays middle relief options, I think you're going to see they're going to need to ask Savage to like be a big boy here. I think what did Schneider say? You ready? Like I think his first start in the Blue Jays, he was like, "You ready to be a big boy and go out for the 6th inning?" He said something like that. No Eric Lauer. He basically threw a start in the 18-inning game. And then to go back to the chat. Yeah, I want no part of Little in a leverage situation. So I really think that they're going to. So maybe if you don't like the Blue Jays, or maybe even if you're like, well, I don't know how this is going to go from the Dodgers hitting him standpoint, that Savage out over is probably a good bet because I really think they need to ask him to go. TB, do you have it in front of you? What's Savage out over right now?
I looked at it about an hour before the show, and it was 13.5, if I'm not mistaken. And Snell's was 18.5. So they're saying, will Snell get one out in the 6th inning? Or no, 7th inning. So yeah, I saw Jesse in the chat earlier saying Snell's outs under 18.5 is pretty high. Will Snell get an out in the 7th inning? I mean, I expect to see vintage Snell tonight, but even vintage Snell, this is the World Series. I mean, you pitch tired, you play hurt. So this is the World Series. There's 3 games left for all the glory here. You're gonna play. If the coach calls you, you're gonna play. These guys mentally, they're all warriors. They think they're Superman. They think they're indestructible. So, was it 14.5? Okay, so will he
could have moved?
Yeah. Okay. Will he finish 5 innings or not? So I would agree with an over on that. And I would agree with an under on Snell's 18.5. 18.5. You almost never see 18.5. That's like Wheeler numbers, like Wheeler and a couple other guys get 18.5. It's very rare. And let me just make a quick point about what you said on Any Given Day. I watched Jay Cutler outplay Brett Favre one Sunday a long time ago. So anyone can outplay anyone on a day. So to say to say, you're slighting someone, that's disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. No, don't be ridiculous. That's a fan talking. That's not a bettor talking. So today, if Savage can locate his split change, that's an unhittable pitch. And he definitely could outpitch Snell if he's locating that pitch regularly. Like I said in previous shows, he can call that pitch and you can't hit it. So if he's locating that perfectly, that's like a knuckleball. So if he can locate that perfectly, he can outpitch Snell very easily any day.
You got to shop around on these props. DraftKings has that over out prop 12.5 minus 125 for your Savage right now. So that would be,
I saw 13.
That would be him. That would be him going 4 1/3. I think it's likely he's going to go 4 1/3. I think it's likely he goes 5. That's what I'll say. I think you're going to see a Savage go 5. The only way he doesn't go 5, in my opinion, is if he gets so blown up that they got to pull him early and say, all right, we're going to need to win game 6 and game 7. So we might need to like piggyback you with like a Scherzer or something in game 7. I think that's the only way he doesn't go 5 here, because if you think about how the series is lining up now, like, I don't know that there's a great chance to like bring him back for game 7. And I don't know if they would, considering they'll probably have Scherzer and Bieber for game 7, or maybe one of them for game 6. So like, if I look at this and I'm the Blue Jays, I just say like, this is your season, Trey. Like, you're probably, like maybe you could come in and relief in game 7, but this is your season. Leave it all out there. Give us 5+. David, I might disagree with this. I don't know if you'll see Chris Bassett tonight. I don't know if he's a 3. He's not really a reliever. So I just don't know if you see him 3 times in 3 days. I don't know if his body is
tough
built
for a guy who's used to being a starter, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, it's an unknown, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in to pitch. They've all got tomorrow off. He may be able to be good for that. And then that's the thing. It's like Varland for Toronto, or Toronto. He's been a starter most of his career. I've seen him at spring training a lot. He's been trying to stretch him out as a starter for years. Minnesota, when he played in Minnesota, and the same thing would happen. You look at him, you go, man, that person, that guy was really good. And then as it goes on, he would lose it. And so you never know with those guys. But hey, Bassett, I believe, is a free agent, correct? After this year.
That sounds right. I think so.
He, just by pitching in the bullpen in the playoffs, there's somebody who's willing to give this older guy a nice contract just to be a reliever. If you take a look at his career, he's been a starter all these years. He's got a lot of innings behind him. He's been a better reliever, and it's a short sample, but he's been dominant. And we've seen this the last few years. We get these starters that were failed starters go to the bullpen, and they're great relievers. This is a guy who's going to get a nice sized contract as a free agent.
Guys,
David. Go ahead.
Sorry, let me promo real quick. Wager Talk lets us put out MLB bets for $9. We only got 2 or 3 games left. But any bet that any of us 3 put out for Major League Baseball, as long as it's not a 5%, is going to be just $9. So go to wagertalk.com and see what we have to offer. Also, click the free plays link, because all 33 cappers put out free plays almost every day. So you'll get a bunch of good information there as well. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
No, I was just going to say, David, you're not wrong about that. Like, Bassett. So first of all, he's very respected in the clubhouse. Very, like, if you just kind of read about him and like, he's one of the veterans in that clubhouse, very respected. If he goes to Schneider and says, hey, I'm good in relief, like, give me the ball, he'll be in the game. Same thing with Louis Varland at this point. It's the World Series. If they're like, yeah, like, my arm feels great, I want to be out there, they'll be in the game. I was just saying that the plan is more, in my head, is more likely that Bassett would be the game 6 guy behind Gossman. Like, just knowing like what because I think Bassett after 2 days is going to need the day. Whereas like Varland's a little bit younger. He's now been in the bullpen a little longer. I could see them just saying, like, if Varland feels good, it's maybe him for a 3rd straight day. And then in game 6, you see Gossman maybe followed by Bassett and then some of the other relievers. And that's just me playing like, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Just manager from my couch. Like I'm not in the clubhouse. I don't know how these guys feel, but what I do know is that's my concern for the Blue Jays here is what happens between Savage and then maybe getting the ball to Hoffman at the end of the game. That's where I have my concerns with Toronto in this game.
Keep in mind also the last 2 games of the World Series, you see some crazy usage. You'll see a starter who started 2 or 3 days ago come in and pitch relief because there's no tomorrow, right? You've got 2 games left. They're not worried about injury. They're not worried about any of that. They just want a ring, especially the Blue Jays want a ring really bad. I don't think any of those guys, well, Springer has a ring, but and Scherzer has a ring, I think. But you'll see guys like Scherzer, those guys, those crazy old veterans, they'll do anything to pitch in a World Series, and Scherzer might start game 5 and then come in game 6 in relief. You'll see some crazy stuff the last 2 games.
I believe Scherzer has played in the World Series on 4 different teams. That is amazing.
4 or 5, right?
Yeah, he's had a terrific career, and he's looked better than what I thought.
He's an amazing talent.
Oh, yeah.
In his prime, when he was Diamondbacks and Nationals, man, he was amazing.
Great.
He was like Strasburg. Too bad Strasburg's career got cut short, man. That guy was amazing too. But anyway,
injuries, you never know. That's why you were talking about Trigger was talking about Trey. This all comes down to injuries. Blake Snell's been a fantastic pitcher when he's healthy, but he's had problems with injuries in his life. So we'll see. This game, at least for myself, I was clear. There's plenty of value on the last game. I'm having more problems coming up with something on this game, to be totally honest with you.
I think we're gonna see vintage Snell today, because at home he's just really good. The last home start he had against this team, he shut him out for 5 innings with 10 K. His K prop was 6.5. I think it's high. And his outs prop 18.5, way too high in my opinion. Look, he could go out there and pitch 7 innings. Lord knows Roberts doesn't want to use his bullpen, but I just don't think. I think 7 innings is a little too much to ask for him. But I've said in previous shows, we're trying to predict the future here, and you want to cut out as many X factors as possible. I think Savage is an X factor here because, like I said, if he's locating that split change, he's going to be a monster. But if he's just a little bit off, the wheels in your head start spinning, especially for a young rookie under the pressure. And you might see smoke start coming out of his ears if he's not locating that pitch.
David, I agree with you. The Jays need this one. If the Jays want to win the World Series, they got to win this one, in my opinion, because even though they're home, game 6 and game 7, I think those 2 games set up far better for the Dodgers. I still think the Dodgers might be a little bit vulnerable here. 3rd game in 3 days, had the 18-inning game, gave the Jays a little momentum yesterday. I think this is the game that the Jays absolutely have to win. If they don't win this game, I don't know if they can win the World Series. And because I'm going to give it out. This is not a client play because I don't put these out for clients, but to give something out on the show, Trey Savage over 12.5 outs at DraftKings is a very good bet. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't pitch into the 5th inning. And as long as he gets 1 out in the 5th inning, that bet is a winner if you can get that over 12.5. So I think that's a great bet. Schneider's going to want to push him into this game. He just is. Like it messes everything else up for the Blue Jays potentially winning the World Series if you have to go get Savage in like the 3rd or 4th inning here. So he's going to ask him for innings today. That's probably my strongest take on this game. Go, Bryan, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just want to point out, by looking at the line service right now, Odds Logic, great line service out there, that Dodgers in the series, the game is tied 2-2. The Dodgers have 1 home game. Toronto's got 2 home games. Yet the Dodgers are about a 190 favorite to win the World Series still. That tells you what the lines makers think about the Dodgers. So the Toronto, even though they think they're back, they're still a 170 underdog to win the series. So I'm with you. They can't give up any single game and expect to win the World Series. They've got to go for every game as it is. And yeah, we'll see how it goes tonight.
Man, the Dodgers are just a story of what could have been. You know, if they had Kirby, Trinan, and Scott in prime form, that bullpen would be one of the best in Major League Baseball. But unfortunately, all three of them just absolutely barfed this season. So we got two pretty bad bullpens, in my opinion, and two great lineups. I will look to bet an over somehow, but I still think Snell in the first five could be shutting the Blue Jays down. So I'll be looking something like a Blue Jays team total under in the first five and something like a game total over. It came out at 7.5, which I liked, but 8, I'm not quite as enamored with. So those are the ways I'll be looking. I don't have a play out yet, though.
Oh, you can get all of our plays on Major League Baseball, and TB and I are still doing Korean baseball. $9 on for the rest of the season. If I have one out, it'll be $9 in this game, and the same thing for the other gentlemen. We will have one more show, which is awesome. The Jays guaranteed us a Friday show. So we appreciate you all joining us all year. It's been a great time. And I'm already looking forward to doing the show next year and during college basketball with Bryan Leonard or Brian Power and Rob Vino. We're going to do a similar style show for college hoop, but we'll get one more to close it out. So we'll see you on Friday morning, 9 a.m. for the final Total Bases episode of the season.
Brian's going to dress like me tomorrow.
Maybe he'll do it tomorrow because we don't have a show. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I think we have the most intelligent audience of every Wager Talk show, and we appreciate you guys being there every night. It's been a long season, but we will be back next year, and I will be doing my Saturday show again next year as well. So thanks for being with us.
Longer?
What's that?
You're not day to day. You sure you're going to be back next year?
I might get fired for drinking too much Fireball on the air, but we'll see. We'll see. This is the penultimate show.
Yep.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
See you on Friday.
We'll see you Friday. No show tomorrow, no game, but we will see you guys Friday to close out the year. Good luck tonight, everyone. Cash all your tickets.